Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very terrible news going on with some really big changes when it comes to one of the biggest gaming engines. Now, this is going to be one of those things that affects everything. This will be affecting indie games, it affects bigger games, when it comes in also Game Pass and potentially also PlayStation Plus, and the fact of, well, number one company is trying to make as much money as they possibly can, and this also may completely ruin the gaming industry. Now, this is going to be a little bit of an extreme take, I'll be honest with you guys, but if you guys have seen this, you guys have probably heard of Unity, which is one of the biggest game development engines, and as well, there is a lot of big game developers, indie developers, really huge, massive games such as even Among Us, etc., that are now out crying about this, complaining about this, and things are going bad. Like, this is actually a bigger deal than probably expected, and I'm sure even, like, if you have a normal all-caps clickbait, it's probably not even, like, well, really selling on how big of an issue this really is, where Unity is making a really bad decision. A lot of game developers, especially indie devs, are going to be destroyed, and one big thing is even things like game demos may be absolutely almost, well, detrimental towards games, gamers, and game developers, and, well, just cost a lot of money. So let's go talk about this, go do a deep dive. I haven't seen too many people on the internet go and talk about this as well. It's one of those weird videos I kind of hope you guys actually do sit through and also like. It's a little bit more outside the norm, a little bit more my own commentary take, so if you guys enjoy these types of videos. If you guys do, please subscribe, give me your thoughts and comments down below, and as well, we have the Twitter and Twitch room if you guys want to follow. Let's dive on into it. So first and foremost, if you guys have missed it or don't understand the really basics, game engines are typically how, well, people make games. There's a few different levels where some really big game companies will go and make their own engines from ground up. It's like you basically have to go and custom code, custom make these assets, and some game companies will do it. If they have enough money, think like a PlayStation or Xbox. Sometimes they do have their own specific game engines, or things like Bethesda, a multi-billion-dollar company, can go and justify their research and development to go and make these game engines. But one big thing is a lot of game companies will just go in with like some of the bigger things, such as Unreal Engine. I'm sure you guys have heard of that, what Fortnite is based off of, and even things like PlayStation own a substantial stake on, or other really big things such as Unity, and Unity is what we're going to be going and putting on right now. Unreal Engine is one of the biggest game companies and game development type things for people to go make games on, but Unity isn't even, well, I don't want to say bigger, but it's pretty much up there. Unity is probably like the number 2 if I had to go and say. Where now game developers are now furious at Unity Engine and announcing these brand new fees, which are going to be absolutely detrimental, and this will, in my opinion, might be factored into things like Game Pass or PS Plus. Unity has now announced a runtime fee, which will charge developers each time a game using the engine is just even downloaded. Now, that might not sound horrible at the start, but if you guys kind of let these things go cook for a second, this could be horrible. Now, first and foremost, I want you guys to have the impression over here of things like Game Pass. So think like Game Pass as a game system. Obviously, there are games that are built and developed and utilized on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus that are using Unity. They have been made into Unity. They have ported those codes basically into these console games, or even things like Steam, the EA app, Xbox app, Ubisoft, etc. Like, there's always these various games depending on like what's available, what's applicable, what's streamed, etc., etc. But basically, for this one is that, yeah, you guys have heard that correctly. Every single time a game is downloaded, they'll be charging a fee. Now, so think about things like Game Pass. So how do you typically go and play almost any game on Game Pass? Well, there is streaming things, like they have stuff in the cloud. Same with the PlayStation Plus, there is stuff on the cloud. One of the bigger things is that most of the time, people will download these games and we'll go and play them. Pretty much even for me on Starfield. I know Starfield's not technically ran on Unity, but like for me, I downloaded Starfield. Why? Because it's on Game Pass. What about Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Downloaded the game. It's not streamed for me, it's downloaded. And what about things especially for demos, which I've been trying to go push a lot for this one? If you're a game company and you're running something on, like, let's say Unity, and you have a random weird runtime fee, and you get charged every time someone downloads something on your engine, well, guess what? Demos are going to be, well, not even disastrous. It's going to be horrible. So right now, the company behind the Unity engine, one of the major game development tools used by independent studios, has announced a controversial new fee. Starting from January 1st of this year, Unity will charge developers each time a game using the engine is downloaded. And now this is not like a small change. Like, this is like one of the biggest game engines out there. The charge will begin when sales reach a threshold of $200,000 in revenue over 12 months, or 200,000 total installs. Charges will vary depending on the license the developer has with Unity, but will be as high as 20 cents per install. Now, I also want to remind you guys, this could also be really bad for things such as free-to-play games. A lot of free-to-play games. Let's go use maybe Fortnite as an example. Once again, though, it's not on Unity. I'm just using for easy games you guys will look at. Fortnite. They mainly make their money on microtransactions, they sell skins, they sell V-Bucks, they sell battle passes, and that's typically what they make their money on. And well, guess what? If you're playing any of these types of freemium games, think Overwatch, think Apex, think any of these types of games like a Roblox, etc., where the games are just based on you spending money on microtransactions, playing games, or utilizing stuff out there, that is the big issue. That is the big drama. And well, I think you guys are starting to see the issue, or things like demos. What if you have a very, very successful demo? Think something like a PT, where it did very, very well, and a lot of people downloaded it to go check it out. Think things like Splitgate as well, as an independent developer that totally had more than 200,000 installs for absolute sure. Yeah, if they didn't make that money back, or they can't make that money back, this will be a horrible, horrible thing. The fee has been met with anger and incredulity within the game development community. Gary Newman, the creator of the hugely successful Gary's Mod, which is funny, I actually played Gary's Mod randomly with the Fox Girl VTuber like 2 days ago. I don't even know why, on my Twitch stream. If you guys are ever bored, follow up to Twitch. Basically said Unity can now just start charging us a tax per install. They can do this unilaterally. They can charge whatever they want. We have to trust their tracking. Indie developer Tony Gowland responded, "We pay for our pro licenses up front, knowing that any revenue then is ours. That after 2 years of dev, they can add this back-end tax if our game happens to be successful. Nah. We've also had other things too as well that are going way more viral, such as Aggro Crab saying today, and this is going very, very viral as of just even today alone, only a few hours ago, with over 45,000 favorites, over 2 million views, around 2 million views. Today, Unity, the engine we use to make our games, announced that they'll soon be taking a fee from developers for every copy of the game installed over a certain threshold, regardless of how that copy was obtained. Guess who has this somewhat highly anticipated game coming to Xbox Game Pass in 2024? And reminder, this big change is supposed to be coming over here for January 1st. That's right, it's us and a lot of other developers. And this could be the end of things. Well, I don't want to say the end. I don't want to be super dramatic, but this might completely change up the format or how this stuff might work. It might be harder for Xbox or PlayStation, although in theory they are big enough head honchos to probably go work in specific deals on things like Unity. Be like, hey, Unity, like we're Game Pass. Like, let's go work out a deal. Like, we'll give you maybe a cut. We'll give you guys something special. I'm not sure we can't give you all this stuff because some games are made on Unreal or our own Xbox engines or whatever it might be smaller indie games. But let's go talk. We're Xbox. We got a lot of money. But at the same time, if you're not on Xbox or you're an indie game, you could get completely ruined. Because don't forget, some people also have tighter margins. Some people run free-to-play games. Some people, like I said, even run demos, or they might just be free-to-play and they don't necessarily maybe convert as many people as they'd expect. They also have things like server costs they have to go pay, marketing costs they have to pay, licensing rights, music rights, actual employees themselves, everything. Like, it's expensive. It's a business. They say that means another Krebs treasure will be free to install for the 25 million Game Pass subscribers. If a fraction of those users download our game, Unity could take a fee that puts an enormous dent in our income and threatens the sustainability of our business. And that's before we even think about the sales on other platforms, or pirated installs of our game, or even multiple installs with the same user. Maybe a good example, I'm not sure exactly how this will work so far, but think you maybe have, like, say, Steam, and you download the game like 3 or 4 different times. Think maybe you go and uninstall a game. Maybe you have to go uninstall games for storage space. Like, these are all valid critiques. This is horrible. This could be really bad for anyone out there. This decision puts us and countless other studios in a position where we might not be able to even justify using Unity for our future titles. And don't forget, some games are already in motion right now that have been developed doing Unity. We also have some other things such as, well, that it might be hard to switch over to Unreal Engine. Maybe you specifically have developers that are basically really well-versed in Unity. Maybe the game's almost done. Maybe the game has already been done, and now you're just going to have to go and pay extra fees that popped out of nowhere, and people are upset about it. So this decision puts us and countless other studios in a position where we might not be able to justify using Unity for our future titles. If these changes aren't rolled back, we'll be heavily considered abandoning our wealth of Unity expertise we've accumulated over the years and starting from scratch a new engine, which is really something we'd rather not do. On behalf of our dev community, we're calling on Unity to reverse the latest in the string of short-sighted decisions that seem to prioritize shareholders over their product's actual users. I hate it here. And as well as other demos over here up on Steam too as well. On top of this too, they're saying like, hey, it's not gonna even kick until next year, so please go and download now. And other things too as well, we've seen stuff like even like Among Us. Look, literally Among Us itself. I'm sure you guys have heard of Among Us. Just drop a big sigh. And as well, we speak for everyone. We stand with Aggro Crab. I really hope this gets reversed immediately. I've heard that any form of install incurs a fee, including the likes of Game Pass installs, free giveaway keys, and even piracy. Is this true? And this is basically a thing that developers developers are extremely worried about because this could completely destroy gaming as a whole. If you have these things and you try to sell games on sale, you may not make money. Let's go and say you have free-to-play games. You might ruin it. Let's say you have demos. If they overly go and install this might be horrible. And a lot of folks are saying like these are pointing out logistic problems. Will they be charged every time a player reinstalls? They don't know the specifics. And this also, once again, can affect things like PlayStation Plus or Xbox. Maybe not necessarily for the user, but more so for the developers making the games. And if they can't afford to even go in and justify this stuff and their companies don't make any more money, that means at the end of the day, a lot of these game companies will have a lot of issues. Unity's been cutting staff. They've been losing a lot of their stock money. Their shareholders been going good, like horrible. They laid off over 600 staff, and this is horrible for gaming. So I'm with them. I don't think this should be a change. They have to rework this system. Developers are upset, and I want to make sure the future of gaming is going to be safe. So please leave a like. Please give me your thoughts and comments. Subscribe if you guys are new. Swing by the Twitter and Twitch if you guys would like. And this is just not cool, and I'm not happy to see this at all.